Good morning, guys, and welcome back to another day, another vlog. Today is Wednesday, March the 18th, and we're in the car, so I guess you can see we about to do a little chit chat. Yeah, you guessed right. So I'm actually outside of my nail appointment. It's 9:32. Just dropped my son off at school. I have a nail appointment at 10. And I grabbed my tea. This is literally the only thing that I get from Starbucks is their tea, and I got a breakfast sandwich. So we're gonna do a little chit chat and talk about, you guessed it, postpartum. So I am actually, this week will make me 6 weeks postpartum from my second baby because I got two, not one. Okay, period. Clock in. That's gonna be my last one. But anyway, I really wanted to come on here and talk about postpartum because I feel like it is important to talk about. And I was going to say not a lot of people talk about it, but it's being talked about more. And since I'm experiencing it, I want to talk about it more. So I would say postpartum is really, it is a season. I would definitely say that. Postpartum has literally been like one of the hardest things that I've ever gone through in my life. And I feel like nobody prepares you for this mentally, physically, emotionally, spiritually, or like in your relationship. Like, I love my kids, I love my man, but I have been struggling, like, struggling. And I know I look, make it look good on the internet, but everything on the internet is not real. Mind you, I have great days, I really do. And I have bad days. And like most of the time when I post my content and I am having like a bad day, I like to do voiceovers just to connect with you guys and let you guys know, like, hey, like, it's not always peaches and cream over here, because it's really not. There are a lot of sleepless nights. There are a lot of like disagreements with my partner. There are times where I feel like, not to say I don't want to be a mom anymore, but it's like my kids, Mateo, really for right now, be testing me. He's a toddler, like, and it's very like hard to navigate because I am still new to this. Like, obviously I have my kids back to back. So what I know now from the first time with Mateo, I try to do differently with Mason. But there are days. And I just want to let you guys know that, like, I'm just, this is a vulnerable open space, and I'm here to just be honest with my thoughts, and it's a non judgment zone. So yeah. But like mentally, like, what's going on in my head is just, not most days, but some days I'm just overstimulated, especially when both of them cry at the same time. It like sends me through a freaking rage. Mind you, I feel like they feed off of each other. Like, when the baby starts crying, sometimes Mateo starts crying for no reason at all. And it really just sends me, like, it just sends me sometimes. And I just feel like with the overstimulated part, like, I'm always needed, like, by the kids and by my man. And like, it's just, I'm always getting pulled in so many different directions. Like, as a person that is new to this, it can be a lot. Just imagine, like, if you aren't a parent, just imagine like your alone time is not really your alone time. When sometimes when I'm like, okay, I'm gonna take a breather and get in the shower for like 5 minutes. Like, even if babe has it, like, hearing my kids cry, like, as a mother, like, you automatically just hop into that mode. And sometimes he has to be like, I got it, like, go take a shower. But just like hearing them cry or fuss or whatever, you automatically want to step in. So I have to work on that, because if not, I'm going to drive myself crazy. I feel like the pressure to be a good mom, partner, juggling work, wanting to be a full-time content creator, like, it's a lot. I'll get in my own head a lot. Like, if I'm good enough, am I doing enough? If being a content creator, if this is even worth it, like, just, I feel like sometimes I just pick up the camera, I'm like, why am I doing this? Like, who cares? Like, why am I even filming this? Like, nobody cares. Like, nobody cares. Moments of just wanting to shut down or just not talk, I feel like, are very much me sometimes. Other times I am very emotional, and I feel like for my partner, that's a lot to deal with. Like, and I'm very overly vocal, and I feel like I need to work on that too, because that could be overwhelming for him or other people. But I just feel like for me, I like to share what I'm feeling, because I don't want it to build up in my mind and I just explode randomly one day. But he's very good at keeping everything closed in and condensed. And we battle with that. I feel like for him, I'm too much sometimes, and just oversharing and is overwhelming for him because he wants to fix everything, and not everything is fixable. And for me, like, I feel like when he doesn't share because I'm a sharing person, like, it bothers me. So it's a lot, just not just parenting wise, but just being in a relationship. Like, this is my first time living with someone, um like living with my partner. Of course, like when you have like boyfriends or whatever, like you go over there for a few days and like, all right, I'm gonna go home, I'm gonna go back to my space. But like now we live together, so it's like where you ain't got nowhere to go. Like when you're getting overstimulated or whatever, like you can go take a breather or whatever like that. But it's like at the end of the day, like we live together. You know what I'm saying? So it's different, and I feel like we're both still, even though we've been living together for the past 3 years, like we're both still kind of like getting used to that in a sense. And it's just sometimes like I just want to sit in silence and not be touched, not be needed, not be asked anything. And as a mom, you just truly don't get that, like at all, like at all. Emotionally, I feel like sometimes feeling unappreciated at sometimes, like I do cry. I do get frustrated a lot. I do get irritable a lot. Sometimes I feel like I'm alone, even though I'm in a house full of people. I do feel like a sense of mom guilt for feeling overwhelmed because I love my kids and I love my man, but it's like I shouldn't feel overwhelmed. Like this is what I'm built to do. Like I'm supposed to be a mom. Like I need to keep it together, but it's just the reality. Like I'm only 29 years old. Like if you would have asked me this in college, I don't think I would be a mom and be engaged and had to grow up so fast. Not grow up so fast because I was already grown, but like in a different sense of growing up. Like everybody depends on me. Like my kids depend on me. Not to say they don't depend on their father, but you get what I'm saying. Like I have a lot to lose at this point rather than when it was just me, it was just me. You get what I'm saying? I was going through a sense of grief. Like people think I feel like when people first think about grief, they automatically think about like losing somebody, like death. But like grief, you can like grieve your old life. You can grieve your old body. You can grieve and miss who you were before, your freedom, your energy, like before having kids. And I feel like that is my portion of grieving. And I went through this a lot with Mateo. It's not so bad now with both of them, but like with Mateo, it like I remember being in my closet just breaking down crying. And I remember I was on the prayer line one time with my church because they have like a prayer line in the middle of the day at noon. And I remember they were talking about grief, and I was like, they were praying about it and talking about it, and I was like, this is exactly what I'm going through right now. I am grieving. Like I am grieving not being able to just get up and go. I am grieving about like how my body is changing after having Mateo. I'm grieving about watching my fiance go and his life didn't totally do a 360, and here I am. Like he can come and go, he can do all these things, he's staying in the gym, he looks great. And although like he went through his own postpartum, that's going to be like a whole conversation. I feel like one day I'm going to get him on here so we can have that discussion and he can share his portion. But at that time I didn't know that. I didn't know that was a thing. But I was like, hey, like I am grieving. Like I'm grieving like my job, like just everything. And I feel like that emotionally, like that's where I'm at. Like now I would say it's better. And I feel like since I already experienced this, because mind you, like I was March, April, May, June. No, that Mateo was already a year. So when I had just started feeling myself after Mateo was already a year, March, April, May, June. I was 15 months postpartum with Mateo when I got pregnant again. And mind you, like I just kind of started like feeling like myself. So I need to turn the seat warmers back on. So imagine going through postpartum. You're like on the withs end, kind of feeling like yourself, but still kind of going through it. And then you find out you're pregnant again. Like, so it's like you're going through that postpartum phase, but now you're back in your first trimester. And if you know your first trimester is a lot because you're sick, you're nauseous, you're tired all the time. So now I'm going through postpartum. I'm in my first trimester and I have a toddler and I'm working. And I'm juggling trying to be a fiance and like just doing all these things. I have on so many different hats, so many different things. So it was just a lot this time around. And since I knew better, I did better. But it was like sometimes it was uncontrollable. Like when I'm tired, I'm tired. Like, and I just can't control that. And I just feel like emotionally this time around, that was a lot. Because with Mateo, being pregnant with him, I could sleep all day if I wanted to. As soon as I got off work, I could sleep all day if I wanted to. I didn't have no one to take care of. I could do my thing, whatever. But now that I was pregnant this time around and I have a toddler, I couldn't do that. Like I had to take care of him. Like babe had to work late. Like I had to step up and I had to push through. And obviously I wasn't used to that because I've never gone through that before. I would say physically, I think this is kind of like a lot with because I'm breastfeeding this time. I did breastfeed with Mateo for a little bit. We struggled latching. Like it was like we struggled. I cried. I was frustrated. Plus him going through all he went through in the first month of his life with finding out what his disease was, being in the hospital for a month back and forth doctor's appointments, trying to figure out what it is, what is going on, what he has. And I ended up pumping and it was just a lot. We were all over the place. So I just ended up putting him he was doing Similac. So now I fully wanted to, I am exclusively breastfeeding and pumping. I'm pumping because I want to save my supply and like, as much as I can. And then I'm breastfeeding because I never got that chance. And I want to do it. I want to connect with my daughter in a different way. And I really want to do it. And it's great. She latches very well. But what I will say is that is a job in itself. And I feel like people don't understand how breastfeeding, yes, it changes you physically, but it ties into you emotionally, and mentally. Like it's a mental thing. Like you got to be mentally strong to really go through this and go through with it for however long you want to go through with it, because it will mess with your head, because it's like the pain, the pins and needles that you feel with breastfeeding, like the engorgement that you feel when you need to pump, and then the overstimulation when they're like, she's like, for instance, she's just crying a lot and she wants to latch, but especially in the middle of the night. Like I feel like the other night I almost cried, not last night but the night before, because we were up until 3 a.m. and it was like she just kept crying. She's tired, she's hungry, she's tired, but she's just so worked up that she just couldn't latch because she was just crying so much she couldn't latch. So yeah, at times like I try to give her a bottle, but then also I'm like, I need to try to work through this with her. And eventually we ended up going to sleep. I can't even remember. I'm stuttering like hell. I can't even remember if I gave her a bottle or if she latched. But either or, the breastfeeding, because you're being touched all day. Like, mind you, when you think about it, right? As a newborn, they have to eat every 2 to 3 hours. So this is normally how it goes. You wake up, and with her, I give her a bottle, right? Because she has to take her medications because her and Mateo have the same disease. And it's easier to do the bottle and do their medication. So, mind you, we get up, do the medicine, do the bottle. By this time, we get up at 7 o'clock. By this time, it's like, do all that. It's like 7:30, right? Feed her. Boom, next thing you know, I'm also pumping every 2 to 3 hours as well, because you have to stimulate your breast to keep your supply up and to make sure I have milk throughout the day, so if I don't have time to latch, she can still eat. So imagine having to feed every 2 to 3 hours, pump almost every 2 to 3 hours, amongst everything else you have to do, because by the time you feed and do all this and that, it's like the 2 hours have been by, so boom, you're back at it again. So it's like repeatedly all day, all night. And the only time you probably get a break is in those windows of the night when she's totally knocked out. But then for us, we still have to get up at 2 a.m. to give her one of her medications. So you're on autopilot. And this is not to discourage anyone. It's just really letting people that are just not educated on how that works, how much it really is like, oh, that's so good, a full-time job. Because like I said, by the time you finish breastfeeding, because sometimes they breastfeed for 30 minutes to an hour. You do 30 minutes on this breast, boom, 30 minutes on this breast. Or they do 30 minutes on this breast. Next thing you know, they pee, they poop or whatever, boom, now they're hungry again. They go back on this breast. Then they cluster feed. That's what normally happens throughout the night. She's hungry, she feeds for 30 minutes, she's good, she's full, she falls asleep, boom, back up in 30 minutes again, wants to do it. And it's like constantly all night long, which is great. In the midst of all of this, I notice how amazing I am as a woman, and that I feel like that's what really keeps me going, because I'm like, wow, I really am producing, like I really am creating the nutrients that my child needs to grow, to live, to not be hungry. Like, can you imagine like you producing what you out of your own body for your kid to eat? Like, that's tea. I don't care. But yeah, breastfeeding is a whole different thing. Like, I can touch on this because this is really the physical aspect of really what I'm going through postpartum. But yes, when you are breastfeeding, it's very much mental as well, because I have times, I forget what they call it once I figure it out, because I've been doing a lot of research. I'll put the word up on the screen and the definition of what it is. I can't think of it right now. But when you breastfeed, or when you're pumping, and you're pumping, or you latch your child, you get this sense of just sadness, like instantly. And I really was going through this when she was still in the NICU, and I really was pressuring myself to pump and get the colostrum because she needed that, and I feel like that really helped her in the NICU really recover. But it was like when I had that wall pump, because I rented the wall pump from the hospital, because I wasn't leaving home without it, and my breast pumps hadn't come in yet, and I really just was really eager and like put my mind to like really was like, I'm going to do this time. Got home, and like I remember just sitting in my rocking chair having the pumps. You just sit there because it's a wall pump, and you just have to sit there and hold them to your breast. And babe, like, I don't know if he took a picture or not, but he was just like, I would just watch you and you would just sit there in a daze, just looking so sad and depressed. And I was, because I'm just like, this is not it. Like, I didn't like the way it felt. Like, I just didn't like the stimulation, how it felt. And like, now that I'm used to it, it's just like, boom, that's what it is. And like, I'm doing other things, I'm on my phone, I'm responding to emails, I'm editing, I'm asleep if I'm laying down. So like, in the beginning, I'm like, I don't like how this makes me feel, because mind you, you're also contracting when you're pumping and stuff. In the beginning, I was also contracting. My uterus is contracting back to its normal size. So I didn't like it, and I would force myself to sit there, and it was torture. It was very much torture, and I hated every bit of it. But and I would literally sit there and cry for 30 minutes with the thing on, and just be in a daze, trying to take my mind off of it, pray, or cry. Not to say that was a dark time for me, but I'm so glad that I'm not in that space anymore. I'm so glad that I have my wearable pumps. I told babe, I'll be like, look, because I actually ordered another breast pump from my insurance for free, but it was taking so long to get in because they were going off shipping it based off my due date so I could have it in time. But obviously, you can have your baby at any time. So we went to Target and we bought this wearable breast pump, and it was $200, and I should be pumping right now actually. But and it was the best thing ever, because I'm like, okay, now I don't have to sit here and pump. I can actually walk around and do stuff, and I don't have to feel so complacent and torture myself. And I can get things done, get my mind off of the stimulation, because sometimes even so it hurts, depending on if my breasts are sore. So that's a whole thing in itself. So yeah, just your hormones being all over the place, your body not feeling like your own. So mind you, you go through these 9 months, you sharing your body with someone, pop them out, your body still doesn't feel like itself. You're exhausted from your night feeds and just being up all night. So it just like, my body doesn't feel like it's mine. It just feels like it belongs to everybody else. And sometimes I hate that for me, but other times it encourages me and it makes me really feel like I'm that girl, because I am. But yeah, it's just the pain and mental overload from breastfeeding, and yeah. it's like nobody talks about how breastfeeding can be overwhelming. Like, I love it, but and I love my baby, but sometimes I just feel touched out, and sometimes that's why I also pump, because I just don't feel like being touched sometimes. And me pumping and having that, and you can put it in a bottle, really helps my mental. And I big ups to those that really exclusively breastfeed. Like, the only way that the baby eats is through the breast, because I commend y'all for that, because it's a lot. But also, I think, for me, I wanted to pump as well, because if other people are watching my baby, because I knew this time around for postpartum, I was not staying in the house. I was not going to be that person that didn't let no one, I was going to be that person again that didn't let anyone watch my baby, or me go anywhere and no one else stays with my baby for a whole year. I did that with Mateo. I didn't go anywhere. The only person that watched my kid was my mom, his uncle, which is Jawan's brother, or Jawan, for a whole year. And we didn't go anywhere until that 15-month mark, which is when we went to Cabo, which is when I got engaged, which is when I found out I was pregnant again. That's the first time we ever left him to stay overnight with anyone. And I told myself I wasn't doing that again, because I can't mentally, I cannot. So that was another reason why I chose to, like, yes, I'm going to exclusively breastfeed and pump, because this time around I'm not going to let my depression and my anxiety get the best of me. And then, like, spiritually, I'm choosing to lean on God a lot more. Like, I'm praying through my frustration instead of just reacting, because I want total peace in my home, and I'm just really having to trust myself with the purpose that he has for me in this season. um so I feel like through all of this, like, God is my only source. Like, I can't lean on my fiance to make me happy. I can't lean on my kids to make me happy. I can't be like, oh, I'm just a mom. I'm just a mom. I'm more than just a mom. So I feel like, that's my nail girl. I'm gonna let her go inside to get herself together. It's 9:58. But yeah, I feel like, yeah, like I have to, like, what I'm learning is just ending it with hope and not perfection. And I have to totally lean on God for that. And, like, because he's still teaching me patience. He's still teaching me how to, like, learn how to slow down. He's still teaching me how to communicate better with my partner, and I'm still learning how to give myself grace. Like, yes, Juan and I do not argue, but we have a lot of disagreements. We have a lot of ways how we just parent differently, and, like, we're growing through this together. But it's hard, and I feel like I always tell this to people: when you have a baby, you really need to choose someone that you know that you can get through this with, because if not, you're not gonna make it. Like, there's plenty of times where Juan and I don't agree. This morning we had a disagreement on what a wife beater was and what a undershirt was, and, like, I just had to leave it there, and just leave it there. It's sometimes you have to not necessarily pick your battles, because we don't argue, but it's not worth it. And if we do get into a disagreement to where it's though we may not talk for a little bit, we never go to bed upset. We are always willing to reconcile all the time, no matter what, no matter who it is. We're always going to reconcile. We're always going to come back 5, 10, 15, maybe 30 minutes later and be like, you good? Like, or make a joke out of it and, like, end up coming back together. Like, but I just feel like, if you're going through postpartum right now, you're not alone. And I want you to comment below what your experience has been, because we're in this together, and I want to definitely create a community, because there's so many different things I can talk about. If you guys have any questions that you want me to press up on or talk about, just let me know down in the comments. I'm not a what is the word? I'm not a professional at this. Like, this is just me going through it in real life and what my experience has been. So yeah, I'm glad I was here to share that with you guys. And I definitely want to sit down and have more talks with you guys. Like I said, the next time, I definitely want to have Juan on here and him talk about his experience postpartum and what that looked like for him as a man, because I feel like that is definitely not talked about enough at all. But I love you guys so much, and I will chat with you guys next time. Bye bye.